Out that, it was the same color as that wall behind you, the big cliff wall. And the reason was they had started making bricks out of that. So the fifth type of wall is Michelmo, which is called after someplace up near Mesa Verde. And they did have that at Mesa Verde. And that's like 1100 and on. You may wonder why that roof is there. It's there because there's original wood and plaster underneath it. You will, if you go through the rooms after I finish with you, see a room that has its entire original ceiling on it. That's one of the last things you see before you leave the Pueblo. The burial I was telling you about was over there, and oh, I didn't show you the picture. So I'll pass around a picture of the typical Chacoan pots, the kind that had the chocolate in them, and also some of the turquoise that Judd found. So go ahead and pass it around.
Oh, up there.
If there are no questions...
Yes, I've got a couple. The bricks here, it's like stone masonry, they cut the stone out. So
Yeah.
they're not made out of, it's not a brick made.
No, it's stone. Yeah,
It's a stone.
they chip the stone. And the type of sandstone up there is denser than the stuff here, and it also tends to grow in slabs. So they didn't have to work quite as hard.
And there's some kind of trick that you know that we don't, that long sleeves are cooler than short sleeves.
Long sleeves, you don't burn as
That's it.
badly, because I have very fair skin.
The holes in the bottom?
For the timbers, this is, I guess, the second story. We're on the second story here. So I guess this wall wasn't too bad. And please don't sit on the walls. I know it's tempting. It's the perfect height and it's in its shade, but no.
Pam?
All right, Plaza.
Oh, okay, we're still going.
Yep, Plaza for the last stop.
Oh, yeah.
I'm told the plaza is the heart of the Pueblo. This is where you come to connect to the earth and the sky. One of the earliest supervisors wanted to pave it, and people were not real happy with that idea. So it's still unpaved and you can still connect to the earth. You'll notice there are a lot of round rooms. Now by default, the archaeologists decided to call any round room a kiva. Kiva in current Puebloan parlance means a ceremonial space, and I believe it's a Hopi word. And we have no idea whether these were used for ceremonies or not. So they could be kivas or they could not be kivas. You'll notice a variation in size. The small ones especially, at least one archaeologist thinks, no, they were not ceremonial spaces, they were actually living spaces. Being down in the ground, and a lot of them had roofs where they would make kind of a beehive structure of wood and fill in the sides with dirt so that would give really good insulation. And it would maintain an even temperature and be easy to heat. So he's saying those would be perfect to live in. Whereas on the rest of them, you know, you're out in the elements, and it does get down to like 20 below here, and you get snow. So that's a cogent argument. However, on the big ones, people are pretty much in agreement that that was probably some kind of ceremonial space. And this is a fairly decent example of a great kiva in front of us. If you could see the inside, you would note that there's a big bench all the way around. You might think, oh great, someplace to sit. That was where the ancestors sat from the current Pueblos, and possibly a few of the people who are almost ancestors. But the healthy young folk would not be sitting on that. We have 4 large circular masonry structures with holes in the center, and those would have seated the roof timbers. And some of those roof timbers, they think probably weighed up to half a ton. So when you're thinking of that crew bringing the wood in, they probably needed a lot of that water that was at the spring back there.
Do you know whether any of the priests around?
We have no idea. We don't even know if there were priests in there. I mean, who knows? Did you find out who knows let us know.
Okay.
We have a hearth in the center, and to the that side of it, there is a couple of parallel lines where they would seat a shield for the hearth, so that when folks were coming in the entryway, it wouldn't blow ashes over everybody. Now, in the small kivas especially, you would be coming into the roof. So from those 4 timbers, they would put 4 more timbers across and then do roofs down, so you have a pretty flat roof with a hole in the center. And in those kivas, that's where the ladder would be and the smoke would be going out. Here, however, there's an antechamber. So you enter from that direction. It doesn't go all the way down, so you still need a ladder, and that's what it's in that little round hole over there. Somebody, I think, noticed this little round hole over here, and asked if that was a sipapu. What a sipapu is it's a ceremonial entranceway from the underworld into today's world. We've gone through, I believe we're in the 4th world now. We know this is a sipapu because it was not there when this was excavated. And Judd was looking at it and saying, my, it's a great kiva with no sipapu. And one of his Zuni folks put one there just to make them feel happy. It's in the weeds, you can barely see it. So as far as I know, there are not sipapus in the kivas here. However, some archaeologists think the whole kiva would act as a sipapu because you'd be down in the earth and fairly dark and you'd come up into the light.
The 2 squares are the hearths?
No, the one in the middle is the hearth. The 2 squares, we're not sure what it was. In current pueblos, they make foot drums out of them, and they do some other stuff with it that we're not privy to. But as far as we know, they could be jacuzzis or something entirely different. You may notice lack of steam niches, which are normally in the great kivas. You'll have these little square holes along the sides, and I think those are for timbers. Those look round to me. And I have no idea why there's no niches here. There are in the other great kiva, which is right there. This wall right here is due north-south. Whether that has a major significance, I don't know. It could be that they just wanted to face south in the winter so they get the most sun to keep them the warmest. Or it could be that this has some religious significance. Or it could be a clock because at midday you're not going to get any shadow on either side. The wall on that side is east-west. The wall on this side is south-southeast. I'm sorry, east-southeast. So it's almost east-west, but it's a little bit canted to the north, so it faces that way. And it seems like before everything went cardinal, north, south, east, west, east, southeast was the way to face, and we don't know why.
The north wall is where?
Right behind you. That's north-south. And
The north road is straight off of here?
and the south road, and that's the south gap. Did anyone notice something kind of a little funny over here in the picture?
There's nothing
It
there.
looked a little odd in the artist's picture. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a tree. Why would the artist put it there? Because it was there. They discovered a huge tree trunk and a root ball over there, so obviously there was a tree there at some point.
Sacred tree.
And that's what the thought is. Perhaps it was a sacred tree, because in a lot of the pueblos today, they do have a tree which takes part in their ceremonies, and it's like the tree of life. So maybe that's what was happening here. We don't know, as we don't know about so many of the things. But, yeah?
Is there a reason why there's 2 closets and 2 graves?
We don't know. That's a really good question, and there's been a lot of speculation. We don't know. The only entrance to the whole pueblo would be right on the other side of this wall, in the front wall. Everything else you see is a hole in the wall that has been poked there since then. This is still a sacred place for the descendants, and they come here to visit their ancestors, and we appreciate it very much if you will help us to keep it a sacred place and a place that people can come for generations and admire this civilization and what they have done. If you want to continue and go through the rooms, you'll see a set of stairs right over there, and there'll be arrows aiming you through all the rooms and that beautiful panorama of all the doors in a row. is after you turn the corner, I believe. And just before you come out, you'll enter a room, or you'll see a room with the entire ceiling, and they've replastered the walls, so you can see what that would look like. And as you go through, remember that archaeologists keep commenting on how big these rooms are. So imagine trying to put a family in one of these rooms. As far as I'm concerned, they're not that big. Also, as you're coming out, when you're just leaving the Pueblo, if you turn around and look up, you'll see a catty-cornered window. That is the winter solstice window. On October the 29th, light starts to come through there and shine on the wall beyond, and you can't see that wall. That's hidden. And then as the solstice approaches, the light goes to the corner. It will sit in the corner for 3 days and then start going back again. Whether that was the intention, we don't actually know. One of the archaeologists said there's evidence that the outer wall did not go 2 stories, so it could have been open to the light. And they did depend a lot on the weather and the calendars, and the sun and the stars were the way they kept time. So it's highly possible that that was its purpose. We don't know, though. So thank you very much for coming on the tour. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and let me know if I can answer any questions for you.